In this video, I will show you how you can build your very own food blog on WordPress using free WordPress theme and free plugins. So if you love cooking and would like to share these recipes with the world, then hop in and I'll show you how you can build your very own WordPress food blog step by step. And if you watch this tutorial till the end, I will show you how you can have different headers for your food blog, how you can have different layouts for your blog post, your recipe post, and how you can do all that without knowing anything about coding. So if you are ready to share your recipes with the world on your very own food blog, then let's dive in. Now let me give you a quick preview of the food blog that we will be building in this tutorial. So here we have our home page, where in the middle we have our logo. On the right hand side we have the search option. If we click on that, we have a full screen search bar here where you can search your recipes. So if you type in any search term and then hit on enter, then you will see the search results of the recipe here. And if we go back to home page, on the left we have a very sleek and minimalistic menu. If we mouse over on this hamburger icon, we have the various categories which we have created in the back end. And during this tutorial, I will also show you how you can design different looks for your header so that which one suits best to you, you can select that. Now if we scroll down, we can see that we have a sticky header. And below that we have a post slider. We can choose whatever post we want to show here and it will be shown as a slider. So if we go ahead and click on these slide arrow icons, we can scroll left and right. And if we scroll down a bit more, we have this section where we can link various ingredients or tags or maybe the categories same as in our menu. Below that we have a section for the latest post. Right now it's showing the layout in this form. I will show you how you can change this layout in some different form, maybe in form of a list or in form of a grid. And if you watch this tutorial till the end, you will also learn how you can have a sidebar here and then show your recipe post on the left and maybe show about you on the right hand side. Below that we have a about section. And if we go down, we have a very sleek and minimal footer. So if we click on any of these recipes, we are now on the recipe page. On the top, we have a big full width recipe feature image. Below that, we have the category where we have posted this recipe. And below that, if we scroll down, we have a recipe card, which is very useful for SEO. And I'll show you how you can put that on your recipe blog post by just using free plugins. And on the left hand side, we can see we have some social sharing icons, which is very helpful for social media sharing. Now let me show you how this blog looks on mobile. So we go ahead and change the layout for a mobile page. So this is the mobile layout for this food blog. We have the logo once again in the middle. On the left, we have our menu. And on the right, we have the search bar. And on the blog post page, we again have a big feature image. And we have a very responsive design for our recipe card as well. And if we scroll down, we also have similar post sections. And below and at the very bottom, we have our social sharing icons, which are sticking at the bottom, which makes it easy for the readers to share the recipe or the blog post while they are reading. So this is all we are going to build in this tutorial and I'll show you everything step by step. So let's begin with the step 1, that is registering your domain name and getting your hosting server to host your food blog. So what is a domain? So domain is a kind of your online identity by which people can remember you and locate you easily. For example, if you wish to visit Facebook, you need to type in facebook.com in your web browser and you land up on their login page. And similarly, if you wish to go to Google website, you need to type in google.com. So this facebook.com and google.com is a kind of an online identity for these websites. Also, in my case, I have my domain identity as ankitsharma.tv. If someone need to visit my website, they need to type in ankitsharma.tv and they will land up on my blog here. So this ankitsharma.tv is a domain name that I have registered as an identity for my website. So for your food blog, you need to register a domain name, an online identity, and with that, anyone can locate your food blog online. And once we have booked the domain name, the online identity, we need to link that to a hosting server where all our files are stored. So whatever images, whatever content on our food blog, and even videos, if you wish to share on your blog, they need to be saved somewhere online, which people can access 24/7 and view them online. For that, we need a storage online which people can access 24/7, and that storage space is known as hosting servers. And in this case, we will be using hostinger.com for registering our domain as well as getting our hosting server. And as you are just starting up your blogging journey with this food blog, you don't want to spend too much money on hosting servers. So for this reason, I always recommend to start with some cheap hosting company like Hostinger, which got very cheap plans, and they are also very reliable hosting company. So for the beginners, I always recommend to start with Hostinger as their first hosting company, and because the blog is in the very initial stage, they won't be getting too much traffic. So Hostinger is the best budget choice for starting your blog, and once you start getting traffic, you can easily upgrade yourself to some premium hosting services like NameHero. I will leave the links for both in the description below. If you wish, you can go ahead and check both of them and you can choose whichever you want. We might get a little bit of commission once you do a purchase from that link without costing anything extra to you, but this commission will help us create more videos and tutorials like this. So if you use those links, then thank you so much for that. So in this case, we will be using Hostinger to get our domain as well as hosting. Now, if we compare the plans, their single shared hosting starts from $0.99 per month, which is extremely cheap, and their 100 websites plan starts from $2.19 per month. Now, if you have only one website, then you can choose this plan as well. But if you choose the premium shared hosting, you also get a free domain with this hosting plan. So even if you are not going to use 100 websites on this server, you will be getting a free domain for 1 year, and the hosting price is still very cheap as compared to other hosting providers. So by paying a little bit extra, you can consider that you are getting some extra space and you are also getting more bandwidth to handle more visitors per month. And above all, you will get a free domain for 1 year. So I would highly recommend that you choose premium shared hosting plan. So for this case, if we go ahead and select this plan, and in our cart, if we see that this price is applicable if we choose the hosting for 48 months. Now, this might sound like a too long commitment to do for a hosting company. So if you want, you can go ahead and choose 12 months plan. But anyways, you will still get your free domain for 1 year and everything remains the same. And above that, you also have a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you have any problem, if you don't like their service, you can go ahead and cancel your plan anytime. So if we choose the 12 months plan, and scroll down, here is an option to enter the email address by which we will be able to create our account on Hostinger. And below that, we choose our payment option to pay for this hosting plan. And before we proceed with checkout, make sure you go ahead and enter my coupon code so that you can get some extra discount. So the coupon code will be Ankit Sharma TV. I will leave that as well in the description below. If you apply that, you can see that you get some 7% discount on your final cart price. So don't forget to add this coupon code to get some extra discount. Below that, we just enter our cart details and then click on Submit Secure Payment. So depending upon whatever payment option you choose, the checkout process might be a little bit different. So in my case, I'm using my credit card, so it's asking us to enter the OTP. So let me just go ahead and do that. Alright, so it's going to process the order and then it will ask us to create a password for our Hostinger account. and then make sure you save it somewhere so that you can easily log in your hosting panel in future. So once you enter the password, just click on continue. Let's go ahead and do some processing. And here it says the setup is done. Let's click on start now. And here is the point where we can choose our free domain. So if we click on claim the free domain, here you can go ahead and enter any domain which you wish to book for your food blog. So in my case, I'm just going to enter any random domain. So at this point, it's asking us if we wish to build a new site, if we wish to migrate our already existing website to this hosting server, or if we wish to skip and start from scratch. So in our case, we will skip that and we will start from scratch. During this process, it will also ask you to choose the location of your server. You need to select the servers which are near to your location. For example, if you are in India, you might want to choose a server location maybe in Europe or maybe in Asia. So depending upon where you are, you need to select the location of the server accordingly so that there will be a less time for the request from the server to your website. So your website can process a little bit fast. So in my case, I'm selecting Europe and then click on select. So I'll click on finish setup. And it will take a few minutes. And here we will enter the details of the domain that we have registered. So you need to enter some contact details which are mandatory. So once you fill up all the details, you can click on finish registration. So these details are mandatory when we book any domain online. Alright, so now we can go ahead and click on manage site to log in the backend. So this is the first look of our Hostinger hosting panel. So now we have booked our hosting from Hostinger and we also got our domain free for 1 year. So next year we need to renew our hosting and we also need to pay for the domain renewal, which is only free for 1 year. But right now it's free for 1 year. So after registering our domain name and hosting, our next step is to install WordPress on our domain. So for that, we need to log into our Hostinger account and then we will install WordPress on our domain. So for that, we go to hostinger.com. We click on login so that we can log in our backend. So here we enter the email ID and the password that we have used while registering for this hosting account. We click on login. Alright, so this is the first screen you will see once you log in your Hostinger hosting panel. And here is the details of our hosting account. And here is the domain that we got for free of cost for 1 year. So for this free domain, you also get SSL certificate. So for that, you need to click on the SSL menu item on the very top. And I have already done that, but all you need to do is just activate your SSL certificate for the domain that you have booked and it will be done automatically. So let me just go back to our home page and from here to install WordPress on this domain. From here in our hosting section, we need to click on manage this hosting account so that we can install WordPress. And here if we scroll down, we have an option for auto installer. We click on that. And once you are in the auto installer section, you will find the first option as WordPress. You can also install other stuff like WordPress with WooCommerce, which you can anyway do once you install WordPress. And other than that, you can also install Joomla and various other stuff which you can check yourself once you log in here. So in this case, we will be using WordPress only. So we select WordPress. So here are some details before we install the WordPress. So for instead of HTTP, we will be using HTTPS because we now have free SSL for this domain. And if you want, you can go ahead and install WordPress in a subfolder under this domain. So it will be like your domain name.com / the folder name. So the WordPress installation will happen under a folder in your hosting account. But you don't want to do that. You want to install WordPress on the domain itself. But in my case, as I am just creating this video for the tutorial purpose, I'm going to use a folder to install WordPress in it. So let me just go ahead and type in a recipe blog as a folder name. Once again, you do not have to do that. You need to leave this option blank so that the WordPress will get installed on the root domain itself. And below that, you need to type in the username and password for the WordPress admin panel. Make sure you use some very strong username and password so that it's not easy to hack. Below that, we need to enter the administration email ID, which you can use to log in the WordPress backend. You can either use the email or you can use the username to log in the WordPress backend. After that, we have the option to enter title for our WordPress installation. So for this one, maybe we can write maybe something like that, which you can always go ahead and change from the WordPress backend, which we've installed. And below that, here are some details which you don't need to do anything about. And once you enter the administrator username, password and email ID, all you need to do is just click on install. So let me just go ahead and fill up the details and then click on install. Alright, the details are in, so let's go ahead and click on install. Alright, so now our WordPress installation is done. Let's go ahead and click on that. And here is the front end of the fresh copy of WordPress, which does not look anything like our food blog. So don't worry about that. We will customize that. So for any WordPress installation, the admin URL remains the same. All you have to do is just type in wp-admin after your URL. So once we hit on that, and once we do that, it will redirect to the admin page of WordPress. So now we go ahead and enter the login details, which we have entered while installing this WordPress. Alright, once the details are in, let's click on login. Alright, so this is the backend of our WordPress, and right now we are at the dashboard of our WordPress admin, and it might look very overwhelming for a first time user. Just be with me and I'll guide you about everything step by step. So first of all, let's get rid of all this stuff from the dashboard. So for that, we go to screen options. And let me just uncheck all of this. I like my dashboard to be very clean, and this is coming from some plugin which we do not need. So next step is to go to plugins and remove all the plugins which we do not need. So we do not need all these plugins, so we go ahead and remove that. We select everyone. Now let's leave Lightspeed Cache. We might need that. And once we select everything, we deactivate all, and once again select everyone, and now delete. Alright, so all the clutter is gone. So if we go back to dashboard, so now we have a clean dashboard. Alright, so the next step is to change few settings. So we go to settings, we go to general, and here is the title of the blog which we have entered while we were installing the WordPress. So you can go ahead and change it from here. Below that, we go to permanent links, and here I select post name as my URLs. So the recipes or any article we write on this blog will have a clean URL. So we go ahead and click on save. Now once that is done, our next step is to install the free theme we will be using to build our food blog. So for that, we go to appearance, we go to themes, and from here we go to add new, and we will search for a theme called Kadence. Now this is a new theme and it's getting very popular because it's fast, it's lightweight, and it's very easy to use for a beginner as well. And it got a lot of options which are more than enough to create our food blog. So here we go ahead and install this theme. Alright, once the installation is done, let's go ahead and click on activate. Alright, now the theme is activated. Let's go ahead and get rid of all the other themes because they are just gonna occupy space and attract some malwares. So let's go ahead and clean the stuff here as well. So as we are only gonna use one theme, so it's better get rid of others and keep a clean dashboard. Alright, so now we only have one theme, and below that it's asking us to install Kadence starter templates. We don't need that. They are some ready-made themes which we can use to create our websites. But in our case, we will be building everything from scratch so that I can show you what all options we have. So let's close this one. Alright, so once the theme is done, it's time to add some plugins. So we go to plugins, add new. And the first plugin we need is from the Kadence theme itself. If we search for Kadence, we have the first plugin says Gutenberg blocks. So this plugin is from the same people who developed the Kadence WP theme. This plugin will help you design some advanced page layouts by just using Gutenberg blocks. And as we are not using any page builder, this plugin will help us a lot in creating some custom designs. So once we install the plugin, right, we will activate that later on. Let's go ahead and add one more plugin. It's called, once we search for Gutenberg, we get this plugin from Brainstorm Force. These are the guys who developed Astra theme, and we are going to use their plugin because it got some blocks which we will be needing to create our food blog, especially for showcasing our posts. So that's why we need this plugin, and it is a great plugin if you are only using Gutenberg blocks to create your WordPress website or blog. So let's go ahead and install that as well. Alright, once that is installed, we will again activate that later on. The next plugin we need is social sharing icons. So for this one, we will be using this plugin because it gives us some sticky social sharing icons. So let's go ahead and install this one. Alright, once that is done, let's go ahead and install another one. Now the next one is a plugin which can help us create some recipe cards, which will help us in generating the recipe schema for getting better ranks in Google. So for this, we will be using the plugin called WP Recipe Maker. So here's the plugin. We will install this one as well. You can always use some different plugins to create this recipe card. There are various plugins available, but I have used this plugin and it's pretty much straightforward. So I'm going to use this one, and you can play around with any other free plugin available. Alright, so this is also got installed. Now we go to our installed plugins and we click on this one. And we're gonna click all those we have installed, and we will activate all of them at once. Alright, so we are now in the ultimate add-ons landing page for the plugin. And if we scroll down, the best part about this plugin is that you can deactivate if you are not using any block. So I'm gonna deactivate all of them. If you want, you can go ahead and check each of them and use whichever you want. And the one which we will be using are the post carousel, post grid, and post masonry. So I'm gonna activate all the three. Alright, so here are some bunch of other options which I'm not gonna use in this tutorial. So here is the recipe maker plugin. Alright, so if you go ahead and click on our sassy social share, it's a tongue twister. So if you go ahead and click on our sassy social share, it's a tongue twister, I'm sorry. So if we go on that, we have some various options available. So let's go ahead and check what options we have here. The one I like is I don't like the standard interface. I love their floating interface, which they stick these social icons at the bottom in the mobile layout and on the left hand side on the desktop version. So I'm gonna uncheck that, and I'm gonna use the floating interface. So we are gonna use that only. So now you can choose whichever social icon you want. Let's get rid of Reddit. We need WhatsApp. We also don't need this one. And let's get rid of this one as well. So these are the social icons we will be using on our blog posts. So if we scroll down, we have the background color. We don't need to do that. Horizontal alignment will be left. So the placement will be on the home page, on the post. We don't want the placement on pages. We also want it on category archive page. If you want, you can leave that. If you want to show the share count, you can do that. For that, you need to have a Facebook app ID. So I'm not going to cover that here. So we will leave that unchecked. Enable more icon. Yes, we do. Once anyone click on the more icon, they will get more option to share. So let's go ahead and save these changes. Alright, so the next thing is we need to create a page which we can assign as our home page. So let's go ahead and remove this sample page. We're gonna add new page. And here is the welcome screen of blog editor. We will name this page as home and we will publish it. Alright, so once this page is published, we go back to our settings, and from here we go to reading, and then we will assign this page as our home page. Click on save. Alright, so the next step is to create some categories which we can add in our menu. So we go to posts, we go to categories. So here we will create some categories. So let's rename this one so that we do not have any uncategorized category in our blog. So we name it maybe cooking tips, and URL slug will be cooking tips. So maybe we can have this category on the blog. If you want, you can go ahead and create as per your wish. So now let me just fast forward this for a minute so that I can create all the categories we will be using to create our menu, and you can create categories as per your requirement on your blog. So let's do that. Alright, so now we have all the categories created. So now we can use these categories and show them in our menu. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the front end of our blog, how it looks after installing the theme. So as you can see, nothing much changed. So this is going to be our next step. We'll start the customization process. And the first step is to create our menu. So for that, we go to appearance, we go to menus. So we're going to create two menus. One will be for our desktop and another one will be for our mobile version. So you can play around with this, and this is just to show you the possibilities. So let me just create one for desktop. We will choose it as primary menu, create menu, and here we're gonna add all the categories. Select all, add to menu. Now what we are trying to create is this kind of effect where we have the hamburger icon on the left and below that we have the menu items. So for that, we first need this hamburger icon, and there is no direct way to do that. I just did a trick. So let me show you what I did. So if you go to Google and search for hamburger icon as sky. So we go ahead and copy this hamburger icon from here. And then we go back to our menu. We create a custom link. URL will be nothing and the text will be this hamburger icon. We go ahead and click on menu. So now you can see that we have a hamburger icon for our menu. So we drag and drop all the menu items under this. Alright. So now we go ahead and click on save. So this will be our desktop menu where we have the hamburger icon on the top, and under that we have all the elements as sub menu. So now let's go ahead and create a new menu for our mobile as well, because if we're going to use the same menu, it will show two hamburger icons. So let's go ahead and create a menu for mobile. We select that for mobile, create menu, and once again we go ahead and enter all the categories here, select all, add to menu, then save menu. So now we have two menus. We have one for the desktop and the one for mobile. So for the first step to customize our food blog, we will be assigning color scheme to our blog. So let me show you what I mean. Here I have created a page called stencil page. Let me open that in a new tab. Here you can see that it's a very simple page with the page title and some text written here with a link and a button. So let me show you how we can assign color palette to our blog, and we will use this page to assign font color, different font, and we will assign, and from this page we will be able to assign how our different heading tags will look and how our paragraph tag or how our link will look or how the button of our blog will look. So let's go ahead and define all that. So on this page we click on customize, we go to general, and from there we select the option colors. Now you see we have an option of global palette, and here we have three different palettes. So we have the palette 2 and 3, and right now they are all showing the same colors. Now let's define each of these colors and you will see how the look and feel of the page will change. So for first of all, let's say what the first one says. So for example, the first one says the accent color. So let's go ahead and change that. So I have already collected the color codes which I'm going to use for this palette. So I'll go ahead and copy each one of them. So for the first one, I'll take this code and paste it here. And as you can see, our accent color is already updated here. So you might not be able to see it properly, but it's already green. It will get clear once we update all the colors. So let's go ahead and update the rest of the colors. So we click on this one, we'll update here. And as you can see, the hover color of this link is now updated. So let's go ahead and select the third one, which is the strongest text, that is the heading. So we select that. Now if we go ahead and select any different color, like maybe this one, so you can see that the H1, H2 and H3 as well as the page title text color is updated. So which means we have updated the color for the heading tag on different sections. So wherever we enter our heading, it will be automatically taking the color from here. So let's go ahead and update that as per our color palette. Now we go ahead and copy the next one, which is the strong text. Again, it will be covering the rest of the different text styles. We take this one. Right, let's copy this one as well. Now this one says subtitle background. So let's see what happens once we update that. So as soon as we enter this color code, we have updated the background of our page title. So this is one of the options from the Kadence theme. We can apply background color or background image to page title. So right now we have just assigned color. I'll show you how you can assign background image as well. So let's go ahead and update the rest of the two. So now we have updated the palette number 1. So let's go ahead and publish that. So once we publish that, we have the palette 1 assigned to our website. Now let me show you a quick way to assign palette number 2. So as soon as we click on palette number 2, you can see that the color scheme is now changed to palette 2. If we go ahead and publish that, it will change all the things to palette 2. So now instead of changing each color one by one, let me show you how you can just copy paste and update all of these in one click. So if you go and click on this folder icon, you can select from the color schemes which are ready-made in Kadence Theme. So if you go ahead and click on this red one, you can see that it's now updated. The background color is changed, as well as our link color is also changed. If you go ahead and click on this green, you can see that we have now updated it to a different green color scheme. So let me show you how you can import or export this color scheme. So if we click on export and import, and if you want to export this color scheme, you can go ahead and copy this in some notepad or anywhere, so that you can just open a new website where you want to import this color scheme and just paste the color codes here, and the color scheme will be updated. For example, we have this orange color scheme. Let's go ahead and copy the all codes. We click on import, and if we click on import here, now you can see that our orange color scheme is updated here. Our link is now orange and yellow, and the background color is also updated. I'll leave the palette 3 as it is for the blue scheme. So now we have 3 color palettes with green, orange and blue. So for a recipe blog, I think the green will look good. So I'll leave it as it is. So let's go ahead and publish that. So now if we refresh our home page, we can see that there is a little bit of change in the color scheme, because that's the one we have selected from the global color palette. Now if we go back and click on typography, here we can see that we have a base font, and this globe icon is selected here, which means the color is coming from our color palette, which we have just assigned to this website. So wherever you see this globe icon, it means that the color is coming from the global color palette, which we have selected just a few minutes ago. So if you want to change the font family of all the headings, we can go ahead and click on here. Let's say we want to change it to maybe like Poppins. So as you can see that once we play around with different fonts, all the headings are getting updated. So maybe if we go ahead and select this font family, so font family of all the headings is now updated. If you want a different font family for H1, you can go ahead and select only for H1. So here you can see that the H1 tag is updated here as well as on the page title. And if you want to reset, just click on this back arrow and it will come back to normal. Let's reset the H1 tag, and for headings we choose Poppins and then click on publish. So here you can play around with the fonts and typography of various elements. Now if you want to only change the typography of page title, not any other heading tag. So for example, if you want to change the title above content, that is this one. So you want to change the color of this one to maybe dark green, you can do that. And maybe if you want to change it to white, you can also play around with that. Even if you don't want to use any color from the color palette, you can choose any XYZ color from here and it will be updated to all the page titles on this site. But it's better if we stick with the color palette, so that whenever we switch our color palette, it will have a consistent color. So let's keep it to dark gray. Alright, so we go ahead and click on publish and let's go back. So this is how we assign color palette to our website. So now let's go ahead and change the heading part. So let's go ahead and edit the header part. So we can do that by just click on header here, or maybe just click on this pencil icon, and then we are directly in the main row. So we go ahead and click back. So right now we are in the header section. So in the Kadence theme, we get a lot of options to customize our header by just dragging and dropping the elements. So here we have 3 rows, the top one, the main row, as well as at the bottom row. All we have to do is just drag and drop the elements. Like we can just drag and drop it to the middle. So you can see that our logo is now in the middle. So let's go ahead and update the logo image first. We click on this pencil icon. Now you can see that we have the logo and the title here showing as the website identity, the logo. So let's go ahead and select an image. Alright, so here is our logo file. Let's select that and we skip cropping. So now we have the image as well as the title of the website. So from here we select the logo so that it will only show the image, or even you can play around with logo, title as well as the tagline. So that's too much. So let's go ahead and click on logo only because we only want the image to be displayed. And if you want, you can go ahead and change the max width. So you can go ahead and enlarge and shrink your logo as per your need. So 200 is pretty nice. You can also check the look in tablet as well as in mobile. For example, if in mobile you want to shrink down your logo, so we can select the size and we can just play around with size as fit our requirement. So I think 150 is decent enough. So let's go back to desktop. And now we go ahead and drag and drop the primary menu to the left. Now you can see that we have the hamburger icon and we have a drop down below that, but this drop down icon is not looking very good. Now I will do a little bit of advanced customization by just entering a line of CSS code so that we can hide this drop arrow. So we go back and scroll down to additional CSS, and here we'll type in a little bit of code so that we can play around with this drop arrow. So in the additional CSS, we will drop a line of code. So as soon as we drop this line of code here, you can see that this down arrow is now gone. So we have just added display none so that this down arrow will be gone. And you can get this line of code from my blog post, which I will link in the description below. Now, if you are not comfortable with adding any line of code, you can leave this part. I will also show you how you can design a different header for this food blog. So stay with me. So right now we have just added this line of code. We go back and in the header, and on the right hand side, we go ahead and add this search icon here. So now you can see that we have a search icon here. If we go ahead and click on this, we can go ahead and enter any label. But I like the minimal look, so I'll leave it blank. And if we go in design, we can also select if it is bordered or default. And we can also select the color. The initial color will be dark green and the hover color will be light green. So if we check on the mouse over, we can see that now it's dark green matching to our color scheme. Same goes with this hamburger icon. Click on that. The navigation color, we select dark green, and for the hover color, we select the light green, and for the active one, let's leave it gray. So now it's looking in a consistent color. And for the drop down, we click on drop down options, we go to design, and the background color will be dark gray and the initial color will be light green like this one. The hover color will be white, which looks good, and the active color is also white, which is fine. We click on publish. So let's go ahead and see how it looks in the front end. So we go back to our home page, we click on refresh, and now we have the logo in the middle, we have the menu on the left, and we have a search option on the right. Right now it's showing page title on the home page. We will customize that in a minute. So here we have an option for tablet and mobile on the right hand side. We click on that. And here you see that on the left hand side we have logo and on the right we have the mobile menu. So I'll drop the logo in the middle. I'll drop the menu trigger on the left, and on the right we drop the search option. So now it's looking same as our desktop. So I go ahead and click on this hamburger icon. If we want, we can change the icon to this one. Now this hamburger icon is not the same as this one which we have entered in the menu while we were creating the menu in the backend. This hamburger icon is the default one which will be activated in the mobile view. So that's why we have created two menus. One which will be visible for the desktop, this one, and this menu is only showing the mobile navigation which we can set from here. So if we go ahead and click on settings for this mobile navigation, we have an option to select which menu we want to show for our mobile. So right now it's automatically selecting the mobile menu. If in case we select the desktop menu, you can see that it's now taking the desktop menu as it is, which is not looking good. It's showing hamburger icon inside hamburger icon, which is odd. So for that reason, we have created two menus. So for mobile, we always gonna select mobile menu so that once we click on this hamburger icon, it will show the proper menu here. So let's go back. We go to our header. So now our mobile header is also done. We click on publish. We go back to desktop. Now let's dive in some advanced settings of this header. Like if you want to make this header sticky, so we have an option for sticky menu here. If we have a design which supports transparent header, you can play around with that as well. But for this food blog theme, we will be using sticky header, not the transparent header. So we click on this one. We enable sticky header for main row. That is this one where we have our all the stuff. So we say yes to main row. And if you want, you can have a different logo for the header. If you want a sticky header in mobile, you can go ahead and select that as well. But I think it's not required in mobile. It just occupies a lot of space on top. So we will leave it as no. So if we scroll down, you can see that we have a white background header sticking on the top. So let's go ahead and add a different color. So we click on design. So here, if we scroll down, we have an option for sticky header background. We click on that and then we select the light green color. So once we scroll down, now you can see that our sticky header got a light green background color. And in the mobile, you can see that it's not sticky. So we go back to desktop. We go back from here. And now we have a sticky header for our food blog. Let's go ahead and publish that. Now this completes our header design 1. Now, if in case you do not like this hamburger icon trick that I have did in the menu, or you do not want to add that CSS code to hide this drop arrow, or maybe you want to learn how to design different header for this food blog. So let me show you how you can design a different header for this food blog. But the problem is we will only have one header. So let me show you how you can design a different header, and then I will not publish that. So it won't do any harm to our current layout. So for that, we go ahead and get rid of this primary navigation from here. We go ahead and remove this search bar as well. And below our and above our logo, let's go ahead and add the primary navigation above this. And instead of this menu, we now go ahead and select a different menu, that is our mobile menu. So now we have our mobile menu showing here. So let's go ahead and click on the setting of this top row, or maybe we can go ahead and click from here. We can set the minimum height to maybe 60. So let's go ahead and change the minimum height of our main row as well. So instead of 80, let's say we enter 100 pixels. And now for the top row, we select the option for full width. And in the design, let's go ahead and assign it a background color. And in the menu section, we select the design, and the navigation color this time we select as white. And the hover color will be dark gray, and the active color is also dark gray. Or maybe we can select the light green for the hover color. And if we go back And on the left of our menu, we can go ahead and drop the social icons. And let's go ahead and customize the look of these icons as well. And let's go ahead and reduce the opacity so that we can have some minimal icons here. And then we'll select the color as light green, or maybe this one, or maybe white. So it will match our menu here. And on the right hand side, let's go ahead and drop our search icon like this. And if you go ahead and click on search, we go to design, and once again we have the white color here, and the hover color same as green. So we go ahead and click on that. It shows our search as well. So now we have a completely different header. Now we can go ahead and make this top row as sticky, so that it will, instead of our logo, this top row will become sticky. Now let me show you another way to design our header. For example, if we have our logo on the left, and in the right hand side we add our menu, so we can click on this plus icon, we select the primary navigation, and then we select the navigation color as dark green. And once again we have selected mobile menu instead of our desktop menu, so that we can see the full menu here instead of the hamburger icon. And after that, maybe we can add our search bar as well. So we go to header, and in the main row we go ahead and drop our search icon, so it shifts a little bit to the left, and now we have our search icon here. Let's go to design and change the color scheme to dark green. Alright, so now we have the third option, which is completely different and which is sticky as well. So there are a lot of options you can play around with. So I'm not gonna save this one, so let's go ahead and close it. We click on OK, and now if we go ahead and refresh our page, we have the logo in the middle, hamburger icon on the left, and search on the right. So this is how we can customize the color scheme as well as header of our food blog. So now we will go ahead and customize the footer of our food blog. So now to edit the footer, we come back to our customizer, we click on footer, and now we can go ahead and edit the footer the same way we have done the editing of our header. So as you can see that right now it's only showing the copyright block. So if we go ahead and check our layout, we have just social icons on the top, and below that we have this information. So if we go ahead and click on this copyright information, so here it's using the variables which will automatically fetch the details of year, the copyright icon, and the site title. So whatever blog title you give, it will be visible here. So right now, instead of Kadence WP, we will be writing our own website link, or maybe you can play around with any text. So maybe like the live one, I'll write my website name, and then I'll give it a link. Open that in a new tab. Right now you can see that we have the copyright icon with the year, site title, and a link. And we will make sure that it's aligned in center, vertically aligned as middle. And in the design, we go ahead and change the size, maybe 12. And if we go back to the main footer, and in the design, we go ahead and select a background color, maybe dark gray. And let's go ahead and edit the copyright information once again. We go ahead and change the font color to light green, and the link color will be a little bit darker, and the hover color will be white. Alright, so above that we're gonna place some social media icons. So above this copyright block, we will click on the middle row, and on this plus sign we have social icons here. And if we click on this pencil icon, we can do the settings here. We will align that in middle, vertically align as center. And here we can go ahead and change the icon, or maybe we can add an image. So we'll stick to the icon. If we want, we can show the label as well, or just keep it minimal as it is. And if we go to set social links, here we need to enter the URL for the social links. So for example, if I enter the Facebook URL, so for Facebook, if I enter my Facebook URL, and in the same way, you can enter all the social media links given here. So I'll go back and we'll come back to footer. And right now we have a lot of gap here. So let's go ahead and remove that. We click on the setting for the bottom row, bottom spacing. We're going to reduce that. And in the same way, let's click on the top row, or maybe from here. We have the top spacing and the bottom spacing as well. So we click on the middle row. We go down and change the top spacing as 10 pixel, or maybe 30 is fine for top. But for the bottom, we change it to 10 pixel. So now it's a little bit closer to our copyright information below. And if you want, we can just go ahead and change the color scheme here. So let's go ahead and change the color from here. So we select the green color, and the hover color will be light green. Background color will be transparent. And let's go ahead and increase the size of the icons. So it's now looking much better. So for footer bottom row, let's go ahead and reduce the gap a little bit. So we reduce the top spacing from 30 to 10. Now it's looking much better. So let's go ahead and click on publish. And if we check that in the front end, our footer is now ready. And for the Facebook, I have already linked that to my Facebook page. So if I click on that, it will open the tab in a new window and it will land on my Facebook page. So whatever social links you want to give, you can do that from the back end. So this is how easy it is to drag and drop elements in the footer and customize it the same way we did for our header. So if you want, you can have some links here and maybe your contact form at the bottom. The possibilities are endless. So this will give you an idea how you can design your custom footer for your food blog. So let's start editing our home page. So for that, we need to go to our dashboard. In the pages, we go to our home page, we click on edit. And right now we are in the WordPress editor. And the first thing we need to do is get rid of our page title. So in the WordPress backend, we click on this page setting icon. So we have a lot of options from the Kadence theme, like this one, the page title. We can go ahead and disable that. And the page width, we'll keep it full width for the home page. And the content styling will be default. And if you want, you can disable the header and footer for this page, but we will leave it as it is just to show you what options are available with Kadence free theme. Now let's update this. And now you can see that the page title is gone. So now the next step is to add the post carousel or the post slider on the home page. So for that, first we add a row. Under that row, we will add one single column. And we will make this column as full width. And under this, we will add a post carousel. this post carousel block is coming from the Ultimate Gutenberg add-ons. So as soon as we add that, we now have the post slider here. So if we click on this and click on this wrench icon here, we now in the post carousel setting. Here in the general setting, we can see that the post type right now are showing as posts. We can also do this for pages. Just make sure that all the posts you show in the carousel or slider must have a feature image. Like this one, I forgot to add the feature image in this post. So right now it's looking a little bit odd. So just make sure you add feature images for all the posts. So in the taxonomy, it's taking the categories. We can filter that by tags as well. And right now it's showing posts from all the categories. You can filter that by category as well. And number of posts right now it's showing 6. And let's reduce the number of column. Instead of 3, we'll make it 2. And let's keep it equal height. And here are some carousel settings you can play around with. And the images, you can turn and off. You can turn on and off the feature image, but of course we want that. And in the content settings, we go and uncheck the read more. And we will also hide the comments, dates, author. We only need the image, title, and excerpt. Let's click on update and refresh the front end. So now you can see that we have a post slider on the home page. We also have some default padding in the row. So we go to this wrench icon again. And to check the settings of the row, it's hard to click here and get to the row settings. So for that, we can go ahead and use this breadcrumb at the bottom left corner. So right now we are at the post carousel. If we click on the section, we can now see the settings of the section. And if we click on the row layout, we can now check the settings of the row layout here. This is how you can edit settings in a much more complex design. So now we need to check the margin and padding. So right now the top is 25. Let's make it 5. We click on update. Let's refresh. And now it's looking a little bit cleaner. Now once the slider is done, the next part is to add this block where we will show some images, and below that we will link our categories. You can put some images or icons here and then link it to different categories, or maybe you can add custom tags here and then link it to all the posts related to those tags. So let me show you how this is done. So after that, we go ahead and type in /. We add one more row. And we will start with 2 columns, and then we will add more columns as we keep adding images. So first, let's go ahead and edit some settings here. So the margin and padding is on the top, it's 25, and bottom as 25. Let's make it full width. And in the background settings, we choose the background color as green, or maybe the light green. And here we will add a block as image. We will choose from media library. We'll select first image. And we will choose image size as thumbnail. Align it to center. And we will add text below this. So we will click on these 3 dots. And then we will use insert after option here, and then we will add some text. So now let's go ahead. So here we will add salads. We select that, click on bold, align it to center, and then we will give it a dummy link and just hit on enter. Similarly, here we will add a image. And just make it bold. So now we have 1 row and 2 columns, and under that we have these 2 images. So let's go ahead and add more columns here. So we click on this row, and from here we will select 3 columns, and again we go ahead and add image in this column. We click on update. Let's see how it looks in the front end. So now we have a full width block with the 3 columns, images and link below that. I forgot to add the title, so let's go ahead and do that. So I need to add one more row and then make it single row. Once again, and in this row, I will add a paragraph and type ingredients. You can put any text, whatever you want. Let's change it to advanced headings and turn it to H3, align it to center. And from the breadcrumbs at the bottom, I select the row layout again. And I go to background color, give it a background color as green. So let's go ahead and reduce this gap. You can either use this slider or maybe add the margin and padding from here. So either you can choose the margin and padding from this option, or maybe just use this slider to increase or decrease the gap or margin or padding. So let's click on update and let's refresh this page here. And now we have the heading here. So let me just quickly go ahead and add more columns and then add the images here. So from the breadcrumbs at the bottom, I select the row and then I'll select column as 5. And as you can see that it's automatically cropping the image to square. This is coming from the theme itself. All right, let's go ahead and add the last one. All right, so let's go ahead and update that and see how it looks in the front end. All right, so now we have the slider on the top and our ingredients block below this and the links below it. So now we will add the latest from blog section here, where we will showcase our latest blog post or recipes. So we go back to home page. Now select another row layout. We will select only one column. Again, make it to full width. And now we will add a post grid block. So it will automatically populate all the blog posts. So once again, we can play around with the settings here. And I will keep it as ascending so that we can have feature image on the top blog post, because I forgot to add image in one of the posts. So if you want, you can increase or decrease the columns, and number of posts are showing 6. So I think it's fine. And again, we can go ahead and play around with settings if we want to show from a particular category, or if you want to show post depending upon the tags. Pretty much the same thing. So once again, we go ahead and hide this read more icon. I don't like to show this big bold read more icon. So in the content as well, I'll hide author, date and comment. And if you want, you can also hide the excerpt in this case so that we can have some clean look here. So we go ahead and click on update. And below that we have typography. So the title tag will be H3. Let's reduce it to H5. We'll click on update. And then if we refresh the home page, here we have the blog post. And once again, I forgot to add the title. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I select this row from the breadcrumbs at the bottom, and I'll select insert before, and this time I'll add a advanced heading. This advanced heading is a block from Kadence itself. So I'll paste the text, align it to center, and then click on update. And I would like to add some gap from the top, so I'll add 20 pixels from the top. I'll update that. And let's click on refresh. Alright, so now we have the title and the blog post below this. So after this, we need to add this about me section. So let's go ahead and do that. So we go back to our page editor, and after this row, we will go ahead and we can either just start typing here, or we can use the plus sign here, whatever way you feel comfortable. I like to just type in / and then select the row layout. And once again, we will choose the 2-column layout, and let's increase the padding a bit, maybe 51 pixel or 50 pixel on top and bottom. All right, now we go ahead and add the background settings. The color will be light green coming from the color palette. On the left, we will add the image. Now I'm just using the stock image. You can add your image, of course. So let's go ahead and upload the image. All right, so here's the image. Let's select that. Align it to center. Along with that, let's select the row layout from the breadcrumb again. And we will select the content vertical alignment as middle. So all the content will be in the middle. So on the right hand side, we will add the content. So let's go ahead and copy this from here. So I'll select the advanced heading once again. We'll start typing, and below that we have some sample text. All right, we hit enter and then paste the content below that. If we hit on enter again, below that we have text, and below that we have some social icons. So let's paste the content here. If we hit enter again, so we will type in / and we choose the icon block from Kadence itself, and we will align it to left, and in the setting we will change the size to 30. We will change the icon from this to Facebook. So I'll select this one, and color, I will choose the theme color. So color I'll choose from the color palette. And now I'll add one more icon. So from top, so on the top here is an option to add more icons. So I'll type in number 2 and number 3. So here you can see that the icon 1 setting details are here. Same goes for the icon 2 and the 3 icon settings below that. So we select the icon 2 settings here, and here we will select the icon as Instagram. So I'll choose this one. And for the third one, we will select maybe Pinterest or any social media icon you want. Now for the Facebook, we have an option to add link here. So if I go ahead and add my Facebook link here, and we will open the link in the new tab, and let's go ahead and add some margin. So I'll add a 10 pixel margin to the right. So this is for icon 1. Same we will do it for icon number 2. We will add a margin of 10 pixel on the right. And we will type in any link, open that in new tab, and same goes for icon number 3. So let's paste the link here, open that in new window, and now we click on update. Now the next thing is to add this wave effect below that. So let's go back to our page editor, and from the breadcrumbs here I'll select this row column. And from the settings, we have the divider option. And if we select that bottom one, and here we have different shapes we can choose from. So let's say if we add this one, so now you can see that the effect is already here. So you can increase or decrease the height of this effect. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of padding here, so that it can give a space. So let's click on update. I'll refresh the page, and now we have the wave effect here as well. Alright, so looks like our home page is done. We have the slider on the top. We can scroll manually and it will do automatic scroll as well. Below that, we have section of images with the link below that. You can link it to maybe your categories or tags or any specific pages. Below that, we have the latest blog section. And below that, we have the about section. So this is how we can just use the native WordPress Gutenberg editor and free plugins to create some amazing layouts and complex designs. Now, once the home page is done, let's go ahead and edit our category as well as the single post design. So for that, let's go ahead and click on any of the post to see how the single post layout looks like. So we click on this one. So right now we have the image here. Below that, we have the title and we have some content below that. And below that, we have the recipe card, which I have just imported from the dummy content. And below that, we have the previous and next post option. And below that, we have a section for similar posts. And all this is already done by Kadence Theme. Below that, this recipe rating is coming from the recipe card plugin. And on the right hand side, we have the social sharing icon, which is coming from our plugin, the Sassy Social Share icon. My God, it's a tongue twister. So this is coming from that plugin. So let's go ahead and see what options we can play around with to change this layout. So we go ahead and click on customize. And from here, we click on blog posts. We click on single page layout. And right now it's selected as in content, or you can select the above content. So now the title is gone up. So I don't like this one. I like it below the image. And if you want, you can showcase the breadcrumb as well, but I'll keep it off. And here's the category, title, and meta information. We don't want excerpt to be visible on the post itself. So below that, we have the post layout. Right now it's showing the narrow one. You can also select the normal one. And if we go ahead and select the full width, it will show the big giant image on the top, and below that we have the title here. So the content style will be boxed or unboxed. So we will select as unboxed. And instead of this full width for our post layout, we will select as narrow. And now this one looks much better. If we scroll down, we can disable the vertical padding so that it will stick on the top. If we keep it enabled, we will have this gap from the top. So I'll keep it disabled. And the feature image will be full stretched. So I like this layout. So on the top, we have the header, the sticky header, and then we have the full width, big giant feature image, and a little bit of shading effect, where after that it shows the category and then the title. So I prefer this layout, which is boxed, as well as the feature image shows to full width. So this is just my choice. So you can go ahead and play around with these settings. So let me just go ahead and click on publish. And once again, you can go ahead in design section and play around with the fonts and the color options. So let's go ahead and check how it looks in the front end. So this is how it looks in the front end. On the top, we have our header. And as soon as we start scrolling, we have the big giant image on the top. We have the category, the title, and we have the box layout for our recipe. So let's see how it looks for a mobile format. So let's shrink this window. And you can see that we have the header on the top, our big giant image and title. And again, we have the boxed layout. And on the very bottom, if you can see that, and at very bottom, you can see that these social icons are sticking at the bottom, which helps user to easily click on this share icons and easily share this post or this recipe. So this is the feature I like the most about this social sharing plugin. So this is how easy it is to design our single blog post using this Kadence theme. So now we go ahead and design our category page. So if we click on this link, it will take us to the category page. And here we have the title. And below that we have the images for the post, and below that we have the meta information. Once again, let's go ahead and click on customize and see what options we have. So we go to blog posts, archive layouts. Once again, we can go ahead and enable breadcrumbs and show or hide title. So if we hide title here, it will hide the title for the category, which we don't want. So again, we have the layout. If we want, we can have a right hand side sidebar. So you can play around with the elements, what you want to show in the sidebar. So I'll keep it as normal. So this one looks much better and clean. And the post archive columns will be 3. You can select as 2, but I prefer it 3, looks much better. And for this block, we have option for showing feature image. We can change how the image will look, and we can hide the category. We can hide this from here because we are already in this category page. You can also select which meta information to show. You can hide the author link. You can hide the date as well. And below that, you can also hide the excerpt. I will also hide author because most of the food blogs will have only one author. So you can choose as per your requirement. So let's click on publish and close the customizer. Alright, so this is our category title. So this is our category title. Below that we have the posts. So this is how easy it is to design the category pages for our blog using Kadence Theme. So this is how you can design and build your own food blog by just using free themes and free plugins like Kadence, which makes it so easy to customize everything, and it will look very user-friendly as well. In the end, I would like to give away this theme so that you can also use it to build your very own food blog. For that, all you have to do is just check the link in the description below. There is a link for a Facebook group. All you have to do is just join that Facebook group and you will be able to get the link for this theme, which you can download and add it to your WordPress food blog. And if in case you need any help, then let me know in the group and I'll guide you through step by step. So if you like this video, make sure you hit like and share it with your friends. And if you want more videos and tutorials like this, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any future videos. And I'll see you in the next one.